Hello, good day. I hope you are fine. Excited to be here again because it is always a thing of joy to share with you God's word from His very heart to yours. This week's episode of From His Heart to Yours, I'll be speaking on the topic nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Just before we dive into the lesson of this week, I want to tell you, please check the right hand side of your screen. There is a subscribe button. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do well to subscribe so that you continue to get regular updates when I post videos like this and you continue to enrich your life. You have nothing to lose by subscribing to this channel. Please subscribe to this channel and do well to share this video with your friends, with your family members, so that you'll be an instrument through which God will reach so many persons and bettering their lives. So our lesson today, as stated earlier, is nothing to lose. Our text to be taken from the book of 2 Kings chapter 7 verse 3 to 20. But my primary focus will be in verses 3 and 4. This is what it says. It happened that 4 lepers were sitting outside the city gate. They said to one another, "What are we doing sitting here at death's door? If we enter the famine-struck city, we will die. If we stay here, we will die. So let's take our chances in the camp of Aram and throw ourselves on their mercy. If they receive us, we'll live. If they kill us, we'll die. We've got nothing to lose." These 4 lepers said, "We've got nothing to lose." Now, here's the background of the story. This was a time in the lives of the Samaritans. This was a time in the lives of the Israelites. There was famine in the land because the king Ben-Hadad has besieged the city, has besieged the nation of Israel. Inflation went up the roof. Things were so difficult that in the preceding chapter, the king was walking one day in the city and a woman called on him, "Oh king, have mercy on me. Oh king, help me." The king said, "How can I help you? Where will help come from if not from God? Will I get you help from the wine press or from the feed? What troubles you, O woman?" The woman said, "Here's the situation. Last time I agreed with my neighbor that we'll boil your son and have your son for breakfast. The next day, we'll boil my son and have my son for breakfast. Now this is the trouble. We ate my son the previous day. Now I'm asking my neighbor, bring your son, let's cook your son. My neighbor said, no, my son is not for meal." The king, on hearing how bad, how terrible the situation was, tore his clothes mourning, because he knew the mess they were in at the moment. Tore his clothes and was mourning. The first place he ran to was the house of the prophet Elisha. He went there with so much anger because the king knew that God can do something about this. God should have done something about this. What is God waiting for? He felt that Elisha was complicit, and he said that if nothing is done, the head of Elisha will not remain on his body by the end of the day. But the prophet saw the king before the king came. The prophet was already told by God that the king was coming. And the prophet told the elders with him that, see, the king is on his way. When the king came, the prophet told him that, don't worry, help is in sight. By this time tomorrow, the prices of things will drop significantly because there will be food everywhere. The siege will be over. The famine will be over. The man who was the assistant of the king could not believe it. He said, if God were to make windows in heaven, this cannot happen. Elisha told him, he said, see, you will see this with your eye, but you will never taste of the good of the land. This miracle will come to pass, but you will never be a beneficiary of this miracle. So it happened. These lepers, they were the footnotes of society. Leprosy in those days was like coronavirus, Once you have it, you'll be isolated from society. Your family members will bid you goodbye. These 4 guys, something brought them together. Their misery brought them together. Their shame brought them together. Their problems brought them together. They had a common problem and they had a common destiny. What they are facing was a disease which at that time there was no cure. You'll be isolated. If peradventure, through miracle or through any means you are healed, you need to go to the priest for proper examination before you be reintegrated to society. So these guys, normally cannot go back to the society. They were somewhere after the city gate. Usually when people are passing by, traders and farmers, they can leave food for them to eat. Their family members can send food to them to eat. But those in the city, they were already boiling their young ones as meal. They were already hungry and could not even help themselves, so much to help people who they considered due for death. These lepers were there. They were desperate, but they were determined. At that point, they know that if they go to the city, it makes no sense. It makes no sense if they go to the city. They know also that if they go to the camp of the Aramites, it makes no sense at that point also. They know also that if they go to the camp of the Syrians, it makes no sense because the king of Syria will not be merciful on them. The king of Syria is after their city. But see, take note, a prophetic declaration had been made by Elisha. These guys never heard of the prophecy. They just took their chances because they felt they had nothing to lose. So what are the options? Let us go. Perhaps these Syrians will have mercy on us and give us something to eat. They were the one that besieged the city. They had supplies of food. Any which way, if they kill us, at least we had a chance. Let's give it a try. And they gave it a try. But you see, God, who put that prophetic declaration in the mouth of Elisha, had gone before these lepers, had gone before the children of Israel. God, in his wisdom, placed these lepers there so that he will use them as instruments of his grace. When these lepers got there, they found nobody in the camp of the Syrians. The first thing they did was to take care of their bellies. They ate, and when they were satisfied, they started packing clothes, jewelries. They took them somewhere and hid this. They came back again. They went to another tent. They were packing. When they wanted to go the third time, they spoke to one another. What we are doing is not right. What we are doing is not right. Let's go to the city and tell them that there is a lot of food outside. Let's go to the city and announce to them that the siege is over. You see, these guys who were the footnotes of society, who were discarded, rejected, who were segregated, who were set apart, completely discriminated by society, they became the harbingers of hope. They became those who heralded the good news of God's salvation to Israel by supplying food for them in time of distress. These guys went to the city. They told the king's household, and the king appointed that man who doubted to be the one who will oversee the process of gathering this food that the Syrians left behind. But you know what? The people were rushing to get food, that there was a stampede, and this man was killed in the process. They stepped on him. He saw the food. He saw people getting the food. He saw inflation go down. He saw prices of things go down drastically. But this guy did not eat of the food because he doubted. Now, whenever I go over this passage, there is something that comes to my mind. How God can use people who have been rejected by society. How God could use people who have been discarded by society as instruments of his grace because they dared to try out something. They dared to try out their chances. They dared to act when everybody had already given in to despair. So what are the lessons we can learn? Dear friends, I have 5 lessons I want to share with you real quick. The first lesson I want to share with you is that desperation and determination leads to discovery. You see, you've not gotten solution to your problems because you are not desperate enough. You are not determined enough. You are still very relaxed, but when you are determined, you will get solution. You are sitting down and doing nothing. You have everything to lose, but you have nothing to lose by trying out something, by being determined. It was that determination that prompted them. We are hungry. Should we remain in hunger? No, let's do something about this. And they were determined. They know if they go to the city, not only will the people discriminate them, they know also there is no food, they will die. They know also that if they go to the Syrians, they may die, they may not die. They will beg for mercy. The Syrians know that these guys do not have value in society. They did not come to besiege Israel because of the lepers. The lepers, they took their chances. They were desperate. They were determined. Although they were segregated, although they were discriminated, although they were discarded by society, they also were desperate to live. They were desperate to stay alive. And because of that desperation, they went to the camp of the Syrians. That desperation, that determination led to that great discovery. That's the first lesson. You've not gotten solutions to your problems because you are not determined. How determined are you? How desperate are you to get success? That's the first lesson. The second lesson is that doors may be closed, but they are not locked. You see, most times when we meet obstacles, we just cower, we just turn our back, we just run away, because hitherto we were looking for excuses not to do what we ought to do. But you see, many doors that are closed, they are not locked. What is required of you is to knock. What is required of you is to try to open those doors. Don't just walk away because the door is closed. No, make an attempt. Before these lepers decided to visit the camp of the Syrians, they were there at the city gate for so long a time, suffering. They thought the option of visiting the Syrians to beg them for mercy and for food was not there. They thought that door was closed, but that door, though closed, was not locked. When they attempted, that led to their discovery. Dear friends, don't think that every closed door is locked. You need to make an attempt. Make an attempt to achieve success. Make an attempt to achieve greatness. Make an attempt to apply for that job, to visit that company. Make an attempt. Don't just give up. That opportunity is not bigger than you. It is only your fears. Your fears are greater than your potentials. And these fears you have are swallowing up the opportunities for success. That's the second lesson. Doors may be closed, but they are not locked. That is what we learn from these four lepers. You are nothing to lose. Here's the third lesson we can learn. Every great discovery demands a sense of duty from you. Every great discovery demands a sense of duty for you. You see, when these lepers, when they discovered what ultimately led to the end of that famine in the land, first, they took care of their stomach because they were very hungry. They were near death. They took care of their stomach, but immediately they were satisfied. They said, what we are doing is not right. My dear friends, my dear brethren, folks, you cannot be acquiring wealth. You cannot be wallowing in the opportunity of life without sharing with those around you. You are not doing right. There is a sense of duty that these blessings that God brings your way demands of you. The lepers understood this. You too should understand this. That when you are prospering, when you are growing, there should be a nudge in your soul that, see, these blessings are not meant for you alone. You are supposed to be a window through which God's blessings will go through. You are supposed to be a conduit through which God's blessings will flow through. It is not just meant for you. Be an instrument of God's grace to reward in thy needs of God's providence. You see, they said, what we are doing is not right. This is a sense of duty, a sense of duty to society, a sense of duty to their family, a sense of duty to those who have neglected them, to those who have discriminated, to those who have rejected and casted them away. A sense of duty should come when you make that discovery, that life-changing discovery. A sense of duty should follow immediately. Here's the fourth lesson. Doubt is limiting and could be fatal. When Elisha made that prophetic declaration, the guy who was the personal assistant to the king would have benefited from what God was about to do that the prophet just revealed. But because of doubt, he stood in the way of God's prophetic words. Because of that singular action, he lost his life. He only saw the blessing, but never tasted of it. What is holding you back if not your fears? What is holding you back if not your doubt? I think nothing else. You have nothing to lose. So why doubt what God is about to do? Why doubt what God can do in your very life? Doubt is limiting. Fears will keep you down. Your doubts will keep you down. You have to rise up. Choose to believe, for you have nothing to lose. Choose to believe that insofar God has said it, it will come to pass. You have nothing to lose. Imagine those 4 lepers doubted the opportunity they had by going to the Syrians. Nothing would have happened. They would have died. Anyway, they would have died. Don't allow your doubts to limit you. Here's the 5th and the last lesson I want to share with you from this story. Your destiny is waiting for action to reveal its face. Your destiny is waiting for actions to reveal its face. You see, that life you desire, that greatness you seek, will not come until you act. Your destiny is literally in your hands. Will you act? Because not until you act, not until you put in that action, your destiny will never materialize. Your destiny is waiting for action to reveal its face. These guys, if not for the action they took to explore that option of visiting the Syrians and seeking their mercy to get food, if not for that decision, they wouldn't have been known at all. We don't know their names still, but we know about the 4 lepers that were courageous enough to explore the opportunity that God sowed in their hearts. That singular action changed the course of their lives. Their names were not recorded, but a place was kept for them in the Holy Bible. If not for that action, they would have been unknown. But that action changed their destiny in the short run and in the long run. Changed their destiny because they had food to eat. They were able to elongate their days. Changed their destiny because it gave them an opportunity to be in the annals of time. Gave them a place in the Holy Bible. Gave them a place in the lips of people whenever the story is told. Give them a place. Your destiny is in your hands. You need action. You need action to bring it to pass. Dear friends, as we conclude, like those lepers, sin might have kept you in a very dangerous position. Like those lepers, sin might have separated you from your God, separated you from the community of Christ, separated you from the community of heaven. Sin might have placed you in a position where you are not desired, where you have been discarded, discriminated upon, and left to die. But you see, you still have an opportunity, for you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose by trusting in God. You have nothing to lose by trusting in Jesus Christ, by surrendering to Him, giving your life to Him, allowing Him to make a great difference in your life. You see, when those 4 lepers, when they took that leap of faith, their lives were transformed forever. When those 4 lepers weighed their options and found that they had nothing to lose, they trusted in God and took an action that changed their lives and the lives of their community forever. You too can act like those 4 lepers. You can submit to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. You can obey Him by doing those things you need to do to be saved. In the comment section, you will see the steps to salvation with scriptures, things you need to do to be part of the body of Christ, to be part of a Christian. Like those lepers, you need to take that action and change your life forever. Truly, you have nothing to lose. The world we live in is a ticking bomb. A day is coming, it will be game over. The Bible tells us this in the book of 1 Peter chapter 3, that God will do away with this world. God will do away with this world and God will make everything new. Before that time, which nobody knows about, why don't you surrender to Christ? Why don't you explore the only option you have? I trust you will make a decision today to give faith in Christ a chance, like those 4 lepers did, because truly you have nothing to lose. But if you don't, sooner or later you will discover you have everything to lose by not giving faith a chance. I trust you will apply these words to your lives today and make that decision that will change your life forever, like those lepers made a decision that changed their lives forever. Thank you once more for listening. The message is from his heart to yours, and today we have spoken on nothing to lose. My prayer for you this week is that God will keep you safe, protect you from all evil, and ensure that you will lose nothing in your life, in your family, in your business, that you will lose nothing. That God bless and prosper you, will help you to take that decision, make those choices that will enrich your life. I pray that God will bless and prosper you in all you do, and I hope to see you here next Sunday as you learn from his heart to yours. Once again, my name is Eric Okomado, and it is always a pleasure to share God's word with you. Enjoy the abundant life that Christ gives throughout this week and even for the rest of your life. Just before you go, don't forget to like, comment on this video, and share with your friends. Ask them to subscribe, for I know you have subscribed. Ask them to subscribe. Let's create a community of people that are blessed by the words of God. People that showcase the goodness of God, that reflect his image in the land of the living. I hope you will join me in this mission. God bless you.